So yeah, that's kind of it for the dragon puzzle. Um, Perimeter cutting. Like I said, now I'll just cut the remaining pieces out. Like I said, these waste pieces I'll use for the layered deer that I have had in other videos and whatnot. And it might seem sometimes kind of chaotic depending if you're watching the videos in order that they're uploaded. There's sometimes it's jumping from, me doing these to the layered deer to maybe something else. And part of that is how I upload, but honestly, a lot of it is mainly that's honestly kind of how I work. Um, Especially recently with these smaller projects that I've been doing at the scroll saw that are all oak based ones. A lot of that is because I'm trying to use up that bucket that I've mentioned and shown before, where it never seems to empty. So that's why I kind of was already pointing out that I'm going to turn these into, tails or nose pieces for the layered deer. That way it doesn't go into the bucket. It gets cut into the pieces and gets put aside into a different container for the time being. Um, Eventually, I'm going to buy one of those upright little kind of like screw organizer kind of things, but that's what I'm going to use for these types of projects. I have all my stencils that I've shown, the for the layer deer and for the music notes and stuff like that kind of thing. So what I've already kind of planned in my mind is like the top row of that little plastic drawer system kind of thing. We'll have all the stencils, and then underneath will be all the individual pieces, and then that way, I can, as soon as I get these, I could just take the stencil out, draw it, cut it, and then put the finished cut piece into the corresponding drawer below, and then whatever's scrap gets put in the burn bucket kind of thing. And then once I have enough of the pieces all the way across the row, and then I can actually start doing the glue up process and making a finished product. This is specifically to the deer. I could also apply this to other. I have some other layered animals I've done in the past. These deer ones I've sold a few this year and last year, so they've been something that I've been kind of making sure I keep stock of. Same thing that seems like I've been talking about these dragon puzzles a lot. It's because I've sold a few of them, so I'm just wanting to build some stock back up of them, just to keep my inventory kind of going. I I really like doing a little bit of everything. Um, like I have another like just these are just some random ones on the go kind of thing. That's also I have one that's gonna be a castle puzzle. I started cutting some of the pieces out, and then kind of funny enough how if you were looking in the one of the videos right before this one about how this tail piece fit, it fit better going this way than the other way. I sanded it a bit, and now it actually does fit pretty well both ways. This one I was using a blade, and I just wasn't overly happy with some of the fitment, so I kind of stopped it at the time. Like that one's not too bad, but especially when I was getting into these, they're so tight of curves, and I must have been using a blade that was a bit too thick for this type of curve. That, like I said, I wanted to kind of tighten it up, so that's why I put that one aside, and then switched. And I know it seems maybe not productive to be, do a bit of that and a bit of that and, jump and jump and jump. But a part of it also too is I like using the blade that I put in until the blade's kind of used all the way up. So sometimes I do have to jump from one project to another. Obviously, if I have an order, that takes priority. all this stuff currently is I'm making to build stock up and maybe replace some things that's sold, or maybe it's just make different things so that I can kind of have a wider spread of stuff on my site. But yeah, just lots of different projects. And like I said, recently it's been mainly these puzzles and the layered deer, and I know probably it's starting to probably maybe get a little repetitive, but I have some animal portraits that I got already all the holes drilled for and ready to go. So I got like wow, a giraffe, a giraffe portrait that I'm going to do after the dragon puzzle. I still have a bunch of Christmas ornaments I'm going to do, and I know now it's actually past Christmas, but I do Christmas ornaments all year round because, well, make them all year round because it's back to that kind of the same idea of me wanting to use these up right away. Lots of offcuts of my other projects can get used to make Christmas ornaments, so I always just constantly make them, and then I have my different bins for those set up, and then once they're made, they go into the corresponding bin with similar or at least like priced items. And then that way I'm not holding on to all these scraps as long. Instead of them being scraps, I'm turning them to an actual finished item, and then I don't have a problem holding on to finished items until, till next Christmas or whatever, because then it's something that I could potentially sell versus having just a bucket or buckets or a garage full of just material sitting there. And that's kind of, you know, like I said, I save all these small pieces and they're only good for small projects kind of thing. So I've been trying to start using up some more of my material just to try to gain some space while gaining some inventory. And I understand, like, it's not that the offcuts take up a ton of room, but I also have mentioned that I definitely save oak and maple and walnut and other woods a lot more than say pine, but I still have tons of pine and spruce and stuff like that. I kind of a wood hoarder, as it were, almost, but I just hate throwing it away or whatever. So I've been trying to at least use it up as much as I can, and like I said, just to build up that inventory, and then also to get rid of some of this smaller pieces, and that way I'm not storing just chunks of wood. I'm storing finished products. But yeah, and you also maybe notice you could see the the shop dog came to inspect, and obviously I've been talking too long because now he's turned his back and he's getting bored. But yeah, I'll finish cutting this. This will get a tongue oil finish as I was doing on the other ones, and then after that one's done, I think that's it for the dragon puzzles for a little while. I think after this point, I think I'll have 4 or 5 in inventory, so then I can, start cutting some of the other random ones. And as I've mentioned before in one of my previous videos, as I was panning through a bunch of these, it just looks like kind of like a pile of wood, which I guess technically it is, but these are stuff that already has, like, some of them already have patterns on them. I just got to actually cut them. I got a little thing here of like the 3D ornaments that are compound cuts and just other things underneath. Some of these date back a really long time, and just trying to start finishing some of this. And like I said, it just started turning my wood scraps and whatnot into finished things, and then I can store finished things instead of storing just pieces everywhere. But as you can see, there's lots to do. I even have some glue ups still going currently for other future ones. Um, Even on the saw, or sorry, the stand here, there's a few that are ready to go, and I just gotta do a lot of cutting. But yeah, there's one more of the dog for good measure. Ozzy, hey, yeah, there we go. He's the one who sells it, doesn't he?